and that was 20 people, and we're gonna change Paris, and we're gonna start the chicken rice pandan revolution, right? I was just like, okay, what is this, right?
The team that was in charge of the kitchen was not available. I was like, well, let me take over the kitchen.
How hard can it be?
Saw a green cream and nobody wanted to touch it because they were not sure what it was. So we went out on the street and started giving out neighbor kaya shots.
You made people drink kaya?
This week, the hungry immigrant is in Paris, and as I walked through a door, I smelled home. Chicken rice, pandan, tiffin stacked by the windows. Yup, that's the Hood Paris, a Malaysian Singaporean Kopitiam built from nothing by Pearl and Crystal in the heart of the 11th Arrondissement. 10 years ago, they asked themselves how hard could it be to open a coffee shop in Paris? Turns out it can be quite a challenge, but here they still are. This episode is about what happens when you refuse to hide where you come from in your food, in your flavors, in the way you build a community, and why sometimes the best way to win someone over is with a single sip of soup. This is The Hungry Immigrant coming to you from Paris.
Opening the doors, immediately I smell home. I smell the chicken rice. I smell the wafting flavors of pandan. And I see all these tiffins, which we call mangkuk tingkat. And I'm greeted by these two lovely ladies, smiling brim to brim. And I was like, eh. Literally, eh.
It was like, oh.
No, no. I think polite is eh. Hoi is a little bit not so polite. So I'm here with Crystal and also Pearl. So tell the world, how did you guys arrive here? What is the hood? Why Paris, Singapore, Malaysian food? Tell us.
Do you want to start?
No, Pearl, you started this, so let's start.
So, hey, I'm Pearl, one of the co-founders of The Hood. It started about 10 years ago when I was here in Paris. So I was also in accounting and finance. Same. Can't say I was bored of the job, but I saw something was missing in Paris 10 years ago. The coffee scene was nowhere, specialty coffee in particular. And I felt Asian food wasn't as diverse and vibrant as we've seen in a lot of the other major cities in the world. So, jokingly with a friend just driving back to Geneva, I asked, well, how difficult would it be to open a coffee shop? That was a very naive way of looking at restaurants and coffee shops in general. But, I'm also one of those that if you talk about something, let's just do it. So it took us about 2 years to find a space. And all the Parisians pointed to the Paris 11th Arrondissement, which is now the most buzziest, highest concentration of food and wine in Paris. And I would say the Hood started in no man's land. It was a lot of old commerces, and we kind of created a space which has iterated about 3 times. But when we started, it was really a Kopitiam. It was a coffee shop, but community driven for anyone who walks in and feel like they could be at home, especially in a world that's so polarizing. And we wanted to use the space to feature all kinds of food culture, but in particular, Asian food culture. Well, number one, like pandan wasn't well known. We were the first ones who made pandan and kaya mainstream.
Wow.
So that's how it started. And I think in the pandemic, it was really the tipping point. Everyone else was closed. We stayed open. And it was when Paris discovered that we were dishing out amazing chicken rice that was very delivery friendly.
Right.
We started introducing laksa, Nasi Lemak, and we decided, well, hang on a second. Let's just turn this into a really Southeast Asian driven menu. And then we started bringing back the pop-ups that we used to do. And Crystal appeared in our lives about 3 years ago.
Oh, okay. So Crystal, you're the newest addition.
I am the newest addition to the team, and I think I joined 3 years ago, and 3 years. I think like any Malaysian here, a lot of people would ask me like, where do I go for Malaysian food? And I went like, no, my house. And they go like, no, where do I go for proper Malaysian food, right? And I was like, okay, no, there has to be a place somewhere. And then I Googled, found the Hood, and then I came here for dinner, and I was like, okay, how do I find a way to consistently have Nasi Lemak in Paris? I said, guys, like I cannot. I was doing my master's in food because food is just a big passion of mine. But then I was just like, guys, now we have to approach this realistically. How do I get a consistent supply? And I said, you know what? I'm just gonna go work part-time because they have staff meals, right? And the staff meal is gonna be Nasi Lemak. So I sent a message on Instagram. Pearl was the one that replied. And I said, hey, I'm Malaysian. You guys do Nasi Lemak chicken rice. I know this. You know, do you need someone? And then Pearl was just like, sure, come by tomorrow. And they came by the next day.
Yeah.
And
She joined us in our very first major team meeting.
I was like, okay, what is this, right? Like, this is, yeah, and that's kind of how it started. So it was 3 years ago, on and off, here and there.
Yeah.
Still doing my master's, and then I decided, okay, you know, Pearl did a little bit of finance. I'm gonna go do a little bit of that too. So then I got myself involved in impact investment. Nothing to do with that, but I said, I mean, if everybody who starts cool places does that, why not do that too? Did that for a bit. And then this year came back on board to kind of push the whole, you know, Asian food culture thing in Paris.
Yeah.
But in a way that works, that in a way that the French would come to like love and accept.
So we're going to go talk about what has not been working. You brought that out immediately. I want to talk. I love talking about problems because it's from problems that we become stronger and we find the solutions, right? But we got to recognize that there are problems. But before we go to the problems, let's give people who are listening in, tuning in for the first time, knowing Pearl and knowing Crystal, a little bit of your cultural background. How did you grow up? I'm sure there's somewhat of elements of how you grew up that has kind of trickled into the hood.
In a way, yes. So I didn't come from a family that cooked well. My grandmothers did, but not my parents. And I think I've always loved food. I spent a lot of time at my grandmother's place. Never really picked up cooking until I left Singapore. So I'm from Singapore.
Yeah.
And I took up a job in Geneva. And in your 20s, you want to host house parties. And being the minority in Geneva, you feel like the only way to express your cultural identity was through food. So I decided to scour the internet for the perfect chicken rice recipe.
Right.
Made it from scratch, no prima taste whatsoever.
Right.
And everyone loved it. So it became my dish.
Right.
Every dinner party, I was always making the chicken rice.
Okay.
So that was my foray into food. And, you know, I was also loving the wine scene, coffee scene. And so the idea has always been seeding in my mind. Like I want to have a space, you know, like a lot of our ex-peer group in the finance and accounting world would talk about, right? Opening a restaurant. Everyone wants to open a restaurant. So I decided, well, heck it, let's just do it. Let's start talking about it.
Yeah.
So the goal was really, it wasn't just about food. For me, it was really about building communities. And food is such a great way to connect people. It gets people interested in who you are. That's where the questions about your culture, your identity, where you came from, the language you speak, the kind of food you eat. I mean, that's where it starts to spill, and that's where you start to connect with people from, you know, that are not from the same background as you.
Yeah. I think this comes from the notion of breaking bread.
Yeah.
We break rice. It's always around a lot of rice and a lot of spices and a lot of laughter. And Crystal has a little bit more of a more mixed heritage, I hear.
Yeah, so I'm Malaysian. My dad's Malaysian, my mom's from Macau, and my I guess like my childhood food background, my most fond memory of like breakfast is nasi kerabu. So I went to school in KL, CBN for those of you who know. But every day, like I used to run a lot, right? So I'd eat like a heavy breakfast, and I remember in the morning I would go to that lady, get nasi kerabu at 6 in the morning, and eat that so at 7 a.m. my breakfast was a big plate of rice with telur masin, like isu lada, and like daging.
Right.
Sometimes even rendang, and yeah, so that was that. But then at home, my Cantonese grandma, who came all the way from like Macau, she would make food for us every day. And I didn't even realize this, but it was a lot of work she put into it. I'd learned a lot of things from her as well, but food was just an integrated part of like our life, right? Like
Yeah.
family at home having someone to cook for you, and my mom and dad, we love food. Like we would talk about it like a lot. Like we wouldn't really understand what we like, but like we knew good food. Like our life sort of revolved around food. Saturday mornings would be let's go to the market in Ampang to get like the fresh like yao boy. You know,
Right.
it's things like that.
Yeah.
And so I really kind of grew up around food. Never thought about it as something that you would like, you know, that I would kind of work in the future, because it's kind of a thing that it's omnipresent. But if you grow up in Malaysia, never do you say I'm gonna do a master's in food and beverage management.
Right,
Like what
right.
on do you go? No,
Right.
it's do you want to become an architect? So you like food? You're gonna be a chef. You're definitely gonna cook. And I go like, no. So yeah, so that's the background. So always very multicultural, and then started learning French one day because I decided to learn Portuguese. I've got some Portuguese origins, and
Yeah.
I want to know that. My dad lied to me and said Portuguese and French is the same thing.
And it's not, but I kind of know where it's coming from, the Anglo-Saxon root. Well, okay, yeah.
And he was like, learn French. It's the same thing. So started learning French, and then I realized that it's not the same thing. And I was like, okay, Papa, thank you very much. Now what do I do with this? You know,
Yeah.
4 years that I've spent learning French. And then I was like, let's go to France. So
You were doing this prior to coming to France?
I was learning French before coming to France.
Ah, okay.
And that was like 15th of June. I was like, okay, Mommy, Daddy, do you guys want to go to Paris with me? And I was like, I got accepted. So that's how I came over to France.
Wow.
And it was in France that the whole kind of culinary journey sort of really began. And it's interesting because in France we love food. In Malaysia we love food too. But in France, a lot of people have taken the time to understand why and how they love food.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that because, like, we all know worldwide, I think if you want to start a restaurant or anything to do with food anywhere else, I believe every culture has somewhat of pride in their food. But I mean, come on, French food and French cuisine, I have to say this because I represent Le Cordon Bleu, right? It is like the foundation of cuisine in the world, right? So like, they have such a strong culture around food, and to introduce food that I think, you know, historically there are Vietnamese food here, maybe Cambodian. The most popular, of course, are Thai and Japanese. But Southeast Asian food, especially Malaysian and Singaporean food, which is so non-existent in certain parts of Europe. What?
So, I mean, I would say, regardless of heritage, there's probably some parallels in certain things that we do. Example is cooking a bouillon, a broth. We Asians are very good at broths, and so are the French. Although maybe some of the restaurants probably use the chicken stock.
Which French restaurants do this? We do not know of these French restaurants who use cubes.
No, but like for example, going back to say the chicken rice, what sold our first plate of chicken rice was offering the chicken soup to our regulars. They were refusing to touch the chicken rice because it sounded so basic. But when they had the first sip of soup, it won them over. And so this brings me back to the story of our very first chicken rice pop-up. This was 8 years ago, around November, 16 November, I remember this day very clearly. I had to cook the chicken rice myself because I decided, well, let's bring something fun into a coffee shop, right? We were known for already our pandan cakes, our coffees, our brunch, our waffles with like poached pear and house-made ricotta. But the Singaporean, Malaysian cuisine wasn't really a big part of it. So I decided one day on a cold, almost winter's night.
That's strategy.
Yeah, not really. It was neat.
How hard can it be?
Yeah, right. Just do my chicken rice because that's the only dish I know.
Yeah.
So I did a small menu, chicken rice, tofu, cold tofu with like a chili oil thing.
Almost
Okay.
private dining, like, you know,
Right, right.
like private chef.
And nobody ordered anything that lunch because they're
Okay.
like, what is this? What is this? What are you putting on the table? So a friend of ours who happened to be in town decided to go around offering everyone shots of soups. and it was what won them over. So that night, we ended up selling out all the chicken rice.
Oh,
and
wow.
people came back the next day for it. And
wow.
a German lady walked up and told us, well, this soup reminded me of what my grandmother used to make.
Oh, wow.
So
So you can continue talking about this story. Go on talking, right? But I'm just going to interject because they are so gracious and presented me with food on the table and it's been sitting here. And while you're talking about that soup, I'm looking at the soup that is presented. This is the chicken rice that they have with the soup. You're talking about the soup, right? I'm going to taste the soup.
Well,
but yeah, go and talk about the story.
iterated soon, and also I wished it was served.
A bit warmer, yeah, but it's fine.
But essentially, that's what I think allowed us to introduce the food step by step. And of course, the recipe has iterated a lot since in order to allow us to do a lot more plates. But like that's how we really brought chicken rice into the menu. What else did we do? So pandan and kaya, it's not really a thing back in Malaysia and Singapore. The same issue happened. They saw a green cream which looked like matcha or it was pistachio, right? And nobody wanted to touch it because they were not sure what it was. To just take a
Okay, like taste. Okay.
so now it's became a thing, right?
Oh,
We
no.
serve kaya.
And it's a total. I mean, kaya shots. So we're trying to continue the legacy.
Yeah, right.
Every time we have a small little party here,
Yeah.
what we do is instead of
Giving them a
shots
spoon,
of
yeah,
anything,
yeah.
you give us the palm of your hand. We put a little bit of kaya shot, and that's what you have. That's how we finish every
Yeah.
year.
But that's literally how I learned how to cook Malaysian food. Actually, I always say this: like I graduated from Cordon Bleu, but there's also another institute called CIA. I call it the Culinary Institute of the Aunties. And the aunties or the makciks will teach you how to cook. Like just put your hand, taste it. What spoon? What spoon? Just put it here, right? And then like sometimes it's too hot, right? Especially sambal, the oil, right? But still like it becomes immune, you know. But oh my god, wait! I need to tell you guys about. Okay, the soup is good. Okay, I honestly am used to a little bit more. No, it's good. It's good. But the one that really gets me is the ginger. The ginger must have a little bit of the soy sauce and then a little bit of the chili, and then the rice is so good because it's called chicken rice, right? So the chicken gotta be good, really good. But the rice is the one that's getting me, and I cannot stop eating. But
So I mean,
go back.
speaking of like the French culinary heritage, it's of course there's a lot of history here. I think what works in France is also there's a lot of care for produce, which is something that I didn't learn until I moved here.
Correct.
The produce, the soil, the terroir here is outstanding. And in fact, I was told that the reason why back in Malaysia and Singapore, the reason why we sauce up everything is to hide the lack of flavor in our ingredients. So with the food that we do right now, we try to balance a little bit of both. So, you know, I think we're very used to MSG back home. We don't have that here. The idea.
let's talk about MSG. Let's talk about MSG.
Not that I disagree with it.
Yeah.
It's just it hides what it should be.
Okay.
So I mean, for a while, I would say I refuse to have MSG in the kitchen.
What are your thoughts on MSG?
So, okay. So if we have 4 more hours in this podcast, I
Yeah.
can go really deep into it.
Uh-huh.
But I think so, and that's where I stand with Pearl, right?
Yeah.
Like, our cooking. There's a lot of, as you said, right? A lot of spices, a lot of things that go into it, and for us, it's always a judgment call. So, for example, this chicken rice that you're having here. Another reason why it tastes like so amazing and maybe slightly different is because of the chicken that we use. The chicken that we use is raised different. It's specific.
It's more lean.
The chicken. It's more lean, but it's got a specific chicken flavor that you only get from this type of chicken that is raised in the south of France, and it's called the yellow chicken, right? Like how a kampong chicken tastes different. But then if we're making a rendang, you know, like a rendang, you want that spice. Like it all goes to what is the dish and what do you want to highlight. If a rendang is all the spices, everything that goes into it, then sure, whatever that needs to go into it goes into it. MSG, I mean, are you going to blame someone for putting salt or sugar into a dish?
Sure. There's nothing wrong with MSG at all.
Yeah.
I feel. But at some point, I was also influenced by the idea that, well, MSG kind of really hides the basis of what the ingredients should really taste like. We want to fit in. This was back in the days. We so badly wanted to fit into the French world that we tried to be as French as possible.
Yeah.
And a few years ago, we decided, well, that's not the way to do it. Let's be proud of what we're doing.
Yeah.
Let's give it the full package.
Yeah, but some
In a
people argue that
balanced
the full
way. Yeah,
package,
yeah.
especially in celebrating Asian pride. So obviously we all know who David Chang is, right? And he's very proud of MSG and he's loving MSG and promoting MSG. And
Overwhelmingly against you. That all data suggests that MSG is not harmful to you.
I feel that yes, it's part of the Asian food culture, MSG, and I don't think there's need to demonize anything. There's been, I don't know, until today, correct me if I'm wrong, no scientific proof to say that it is actually very bad for you. But do you think that that means if that is part of our food culture, by not using it, it's like compromising or changing it? Or like, for example, you guys adapting to the Parisian culture, is it?
I think it's in moderation, everything in moderation. I think maybe the reason why we see it so much back in Asia, it's because a lot of people that run the hawker centers, some of them do it for a living. And it's about, how to say, making your preps a lot quicker.
Costs.
So, right? Because it's usually a 1 or 2 person show. But not to say that there's no work behind it. And that's the reason why maybe some places we go to, they go on an overdrive of MSG that sets you back with the headache and the thirst. But when you use it in slight moderation, I mean, all Japanese ramen have MSG. No one is complaining about it. So that's all I'm saying. Like, it's not a bad thing, and we try to use it in small doses to amplify a flavor. But I mean, it's really in really small doses right now. But my point also with the French culinary heritage is that as much as they had dominated that conversation for years and years, I feel like it kind of undermines the ability for Asians to talk about theirs, because Asian has always been seen as the cheaper version of food.
So this is the double edge that we're going to get at, because Asian food obviously is the greasy takeaway Chinese food in that white box in America, that for eggs, for example, which I think when I was here a very long time ago, we only had the traiteur, right? The, what do we call them? Like the bulk kind of supply, or
Your
this takeaway, or all you can eat at €9, and it's just everything fried and greasy. And so, but at the same time, within the Asian culture, you have the Japanese food, which is seen as something different altogether. And then we have the Thai food, which is also seen altogether different. And then now we're trying to introduce a smaller part of Asia, Southeast Asia. And what do you think? Like, tell me, because I've not been back for 15 years, right? What do people here think of Malaysian food, or what's the first impression they get when you say Malaysian food or Singaporean food?
Well, first, I think the first thing that happens is we kind of have to situate Malaysia and Singapore on a map and go, yes, there are pretty beaches, but there's also, like great food. So I think their first impression of the two places are great, but it's also, I think France has also become, it's at a spot where we look for something that is different. We look for something that is, so I don't want to use the word ethnic in any way, but anything that is slightly cultural is of interest. So when you say Malaysian food, they go, yes, okay, what is this? Right? So there's definitely a first curiosity and interest to discover this. And that's what Paris is now. And Paris has also changed over the last 5 years to be very different. And so that gets one foot through the door, and then when they come here, or whenever they go anywhere where there's Malaysian Singaporean food, so it's kind of like you've won the first battle, and now the second one is kind of, okay, Malaysian Singaporean food. It's true that we eat things completely different. Here, your main starch is like bread. In Malaysia, it's gonna be rice, right?
Or noodles.
So or noodles, or maybe roti canai for some, but like it's mainly rice based. So then, how do I how do I make people kind of try this, something that is still a little bit different, right? And getting them used to that. So if I were to tell my mom tomorrow, Mom, you're gonna eat bread for the next 6 days, or for lunch you're only gonna have bread, there's no rice, you're not gonna be used to it. The same way a French person wouldn't be used to having just rice for lunch for the next 6 days either. So it's just that and how we adapt it, and I think that's something that we've been trying to do here a lot more. So we have the chicken rice, and we tell them, there's chicken, there's also rice. This is how you eat it. You should eat it together. Things like that.
really comforting. I think
Exactly.
the comfort food, it's
Yeah.
a common language.
Yeah.
Regardless of where you're from.
Okay, so I'm going to be really Malaysian, right? I think because this is the first time you're doing a podcast with me and first time you're meeting me. This is the first time I'm meeting them. I'm talking to them like this, right? Like friends, right? They just said,
45 minutes.
Pearl was like, can you please come just have teh tarik with us? I was like, no, let's just record the podcast now. No time for teh tarik. Let's just have the teh tarik while we record.
We appreciate the efficiency.
Yeah, I know, but like, let's do it. And yeah, while we're doing that, like, please don't hesitate to eat or like talk with your mouth full. I do that all the time. But like, also on the table is something that you mentioned, how you fuse our flavors with what the French people are used to. So tell me about this. It looks like deviled eggs, Malaysianized deviled eggs.
So yeah, no, this is my personal favorite on the menu because it's something that I personally love. So yeah, so it's Oeuf Mayo, and it's a classic French entree. So it's mayo and eggs, as simple as that. And then I was here and
Our own sambal.
we have our own sambal. So we make our own sriracha mayo, we make our own sambal.
Sriracha as well.
And then I was just like, okay, I really want to have this. How do I make this? So I took our sriracha mayo, I took our sambal, I put it on, and I was just like, oh, this is great. This tastes amazing. And for us, this is kind of our entryway to get the French accustomed to like Asian food. So we were thinking, okay, these are flavors that are distinctly Malaysian Singaporean. Okay, and how do we find a format that will work for the French? So Oeuf Mayo, something that they grow up with. It's something that you eat in the canteen in school, something that you eat when you go to the bistro or the bouillon, which is the equivalent of a mama. But then put that with our ingredients, and bam, you have somebody eating sambal and not complaining about how spicy it is.
Yeah.
So what I think you guys have done very perfectly here is when I taste it, it's, how do I put this? So it's very clean on the palate, right? And I've got something stuck in my teeth, I think. I feel it. But yeah, so the what you've done is actually taken the way French like their flavors. They like to taste every single layer of their flavors. It's like the chicken rice that I'm tasting. The chicken rice, the one thing that I will give it to you 100% is the rice is really, really, really like what I love. Like it's a little bit sticky. It's not like, chicken rice has to be a little bit sticky, not too like, in Malay we call Terroir, which means like, it's not like basmati, with one piece. It's a marriage between, I would say like the Korean kind of sticky rice that they eat every day with a little bit of like the more basmati kind of rice. So it's in between, and then like it's got that chicken broth absorbed into the rice, that kind of thing. And then when it goes to your stomach or tummy, you just go like, it gives you, and then like you just want to go to sleep, right? But the egg, and again, it's very delicate flavors. And the egg as well, what you've done is the sambal is, I would say that if,
It's on the sweeter side.
no, I would say it's like, I taste the chili, I taste the oil, I taste the delicateness of it, which is why I think probably the audience here loves it. But there are also Malaysian dishes, for example, laksa, Curry Laksa, that is like rich with like a broth that is heavy with coconut milk, or like ayam masak merah, or like, those more hearty flavors. Do they do as well here, or is there more of a reject?
Oh yeah, I mean
They do well.
like our laksa is something that it's the most comforting dish for people. Like it works the best.
Yeah.
So
What kind of laksa is that? The
So
curry
curry
laksa?
one,
The curry one,
with
okay.
a prawn head that we
Okay, mee curry, okay, okay.
fry, and we
Yeah.
take the oil and we put that into the big.
so we
Gotcha.
it's basically a mix between a laksa broth and like a prawn bisque. We've married the two together to create like a broth that is like thick. It's like heavy on the seafood. It's also heavy on the coconut milk and the spices. And for them, like it works, right? Like
So actually what you're describing is mee curry, the more Malay version. They also use the prawn heads. So it's like a seafood base, like bisque, like you said, and then like me into a curry laksa. So curry laksa, I have to always clarify that laksas, there are so many versions out there. Different people make it different way, and it's to feature different ingredients. But my point here is that, so even beyond those delicate flavors, I realized, in French cooking, you always put the sauces on the side. You put the salt and pepper on the side, right? It's more about the cuisson. It's like how well it's cooked. right? And then after the flavorings, it's because of the sauce. That's why we have a saucier. Just a person doing the sauce, right? That's how important it is. But like our Malaysian flavors, sometimes we make the sauces and everything all together. And there has not been hesitation. There's not been.
I mean, if you take, for example, like it's super, like I'm gonna show you, but like this is, and you need to try this.
Yeah.
So this is like,
Satay sauce.
it's what we call vegan satay.
Yeah.
But the base of this, and I think anybody watching this will find this really funny. You know, like when you have like Nasi Lemak and you have Sambal Tempeh, this is Sambal Tempeh.
Yeah,
So
in different
it's
form.
Sambal Tempeh, but put onto a skewer, and then we call it vegan satay, which I know, like for any Malaysian or Singaporean listening out there, you'll be like, how on earth is this satay? And sure it isn't, but people love our satay. Our satay works perfectly. And we're just like, how do I introduce something that is familiar to me in a format that's familiar to the French? Put it on a stick. So this is Sambal Tempeh, like without a doubt, right?
It's very umami.
Yeah, exactly. But
And-
then these are the heavy flavors that you normally get. But just instead of putting it on a plate of rice, on a plate of Nasi Lemak like we would normally do, you put it on a skewer. And the French, with a glass of wine, this is the perfect thing for apéro.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you're talking about wines.
Yeah.
Tell me about that, because like I see this incorporation of wines here. Like you guys are mixing
Sakes, yeah.
and sakes.
Yeah.
How?
So
What's the logic to this? Like how?
I think to go to that, the hood is also a place where it's yours. You can do whatever you want, and that's what Pearl said in the beginning of the year. She said, "Crystal, if you like, just go ahead and do this, right?" And for me, wines are something really interesting. So and it goes back to how here in France we understand food. We really take the time to understand what we have. Wines, it's just another way of showing flavor. And what you see is really, it's a reflection of France. It's a reflection of the people that work. It's almost like a chef will show themselves in their dish. A winemaker will show themselves in a wine.
Right.
And wines are something that is super familiar for the French people. And for us, we're like, what better way to show that, what Asian food is than to pair it with natural wines?
Yeah.
And so we work with loads of wines. We've got a selection of, I think, 20 wines on the menu. And it's a personal project of mine to kind of pair Asian food with natural wine.
Right.
Because
What is a natural wine?
Oh, okay. Like that's also another conversation that will take for us. But natural wines is basically the idea that you take a wine and you try to show what there is naturally.
Ah,
So
okay.
it's basically cooking without the addition of too much MSG. A little bit, but you just try to show what it really is. But what we're trying to break is the stereotype of Asian food doesn't go with natural wine.
Right.
Asian food doesn't go with wine.
Right.
Asian food is cheap and should be in a takeout box.
Right.
No, Asian food should be on a pretty plate next to a glass of really good wine.
Yeah.
And it should be eaten this way. And that's what we've been trying to do a lot. So what we do is you work with a lot of different wine producers. We're trying to find flavors that go with the sambal, find flavors that go with the lemongrass, find flavors that go with the ginger, because these things exist out there. You just don't have enough.
So we have the perfect wine for the chicken rice.
Yeah.
The perfect wine for the laksa.
Yeah.
It's like an ancient grape.
Right.
Tropic pool. It pairs beautifully with the laksa.
Exactly.
Okay, what is it? Okay, let's go. Before I go into the flavor, the notes of the flavors itself, and how does this work? I'm just going to tell everyone listening right now. Obviously, I'm a Malaysian, and like we were supposed to meet up at 4, and obviously I came a little bit late. So now the restaurant is starting to get busy, and you might hear people talking in the background and people making calls to make orders, and it's starting to get busy. So bear with us, because this is what I set out to do, to really talk about our culture, and this is part of who we are in our food culture, right? It's starting to hustle and bustle, and that's the reality of it. And if you can't take it, then listen to another podcast, okay? Because mine is going to be as raw as it comes. Because we're going to tell the stories of these people, and if you listen carefully while we were recording, right, you can hear people screaming French words in the background, because we are sitting by the window, and then
Also
cars.
got kids like running across as well.
Yeah, so the word community is something that really, really stands out for me, and it's something that's very true to both Malaysian and also a Singaporean culture. We put community very, very, very at the heart of it. What are the most interesting stories you can tell me, like of of your encounters with people here or other business owners here? Is there one story that sticks out to you?
Well, I think there's a pattern because it's became such a community space where any, I would say, modern Asian that comes here, they know they're going to get good wines, good comfort food, good coffee, and that's what we set out to do. So we've attracted a certain community that would come out here, and they appear so randomly sometimes that you have people who runs businesses or they're doing something cool. Somehow they all appear on the same day, and everyone starts to get together, they network, they exchange.
Yeah.
And that exchanges, for me, it's what makes us unique, and that's what makes us the hood.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of the soul that we've created here.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, as a business owner, starting what we do here with the menu that we do, it's not obvious, right? It takes a lot of education.
Yeah.
And sometimes we know that the main clientele isn't maybe in the 11th arrondissement. It might need to be at the opera.
Yeah.
And we actually contemplated, should we move this out into the center? And Crystal and another close friends of ours said to us, well, if you move out from the neighborhood, you're going to lose the soul that has been here.
Right.
So there's a soul. And there is a soul. It draws people in to make them feel like, hey, this is my second home. And that's what we set up to create.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because of everything that has happened in the world, we
That's
want a safe
beautiful.
space.
Yeah.
And so what brings people together, it's food, it's coffee.
So in no way that you are going to try to commercialize it, franchise it, or
Well, in a way,
are there thoughts of doing that?
the hood is the mothership.
Yeah.
It
Right.
gives birth to concept.
That's what happens when you have female founders, right? It gives birth to brilliant ideas.
So it's already happened. It's first child.
Yeah.
It's right across the street.
From Nonette. Yeah.
That's the business idea.
Yeah.
This will forever be in the 11th arrondissement, the community
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
And this is where ideas are born.
Yeah.
This is where exchanges are made. And
Right.
this is where you discover Kai Si Hao Fan next week.
Right.
Because Paris has not had good Kai Si Hao Fan. It doesn't exist here.
Right.
We're going to make that happen.
So Kai Si Hao Fan, for people who don't know Malaysian food or our language, Kai Si Hao Fan is a broth noodles with like very succulent steamed chicken or poached chicken. And I want to see how this turns out because I always say like one of the most important things is actually the bean sprouts, which from Ipoh originally, they are fat and juicy, and we always say that it's because of the water. And even in Malaysia, we say that we have to import it directly for Ipoh. So I don't know how this is going to happen, but it's interesting to see. But let's go to the wines. How would you generally, just like in one sentence, right? What wine, what kind of spices and dishes in Malaysian or Singaporean food?
Okay.
In general, I know there's a lot of intricacies to it, but in general.
Super simple. Avoid like your traditional like heavy grappa reds and go for your interesting
Literal.
whites, yellows, and oranges. Basically, the color of your food, the color of your wine. That's like that come to me. I'll get you a wine this for that. But that's basically that. Anything that's a little bit funky, a little bit like, herby, a little bit like more tangy, goes with the coconut milk that we find in all our dishes. So orange wines for the win for anything with coconut milk.
Okay, and let's go to one of the last questions I have for you guys because I think we can go on and on. I think meeting you guys is like meeting two sisters. And like we can just go like ha 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 ha, and like everything I say, pearl just look like yeah. I know what it's like. It's very hard to get to people here to go like I know what you're saying without even telling you that I know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? And my last question is for people who want to enter the business world, entrepreneurs who are looking to introduce their heritage foods to different communities. What would your advice be?
Well, location is everything, that's for sure. A clear positioning of how you want to market it. Because, so using Paris as an example, it's not a city that is already familiar with Malaysian, Singapore, or Indonesian food. So when we started out, as I said, we iterated so many times that to some extent, there wasn't a really clear food identity for a while.
Right.
And when you try to rejig the whole thing, we're already 5 years too late.
Wow.
The food is 8 years old. So, as an example, there are many great Asian food groups that had thrived here, but they picked on products that are already globally known. Nasi Lemak, chicken rice are nowhere close to being known worldwide. But people know pao. They know a good noodles. They
Ramen,
know ramen. For I think the food that we do regionally, it's not yet obvious in the global culinary food map. So I think specific to what we do, it's very unique.
Right.
If we were in London or in the US or Australia, it would have been different.
Right.
But we're in Paris. Their knowledge of our region is very limited. And
Wow.
we're changing that through programs.
Wow.
Like Chok Chok,
Yeah.
for example.
Yeah.
So Nonette works is because Nonette is a sandwich.
Right. It's a
Bunnies.
banh mi, right.
It's donuts.
Yep.
So the advice would be pick a product that people know
And start with that.
and start with that. Or pick a product that nobody knows, but go somewhere where there's high footfall and invest a lot in marketing and branding
Right.
because that's what's going to help it grow. We did everything very organically here. Everything was very DIY.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Pearl has like the more businessy answer to that, but like, and I think I've been lucky enough because Pearl has set up the place where it's, you know, it's a business, it works, and that's great. But like, I think one of the things that's most important, and I think in France, that's the thing that shines the most is if you're passionate about it, do it, and people will appreciate it. Like, but it has to come from you. It has to be something that you really want to. I love
With
Nasi Lemak.
intention, as you say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you feel it. Like I can talk about Nasi Lemak, like I pour my heart into talking about Nasi Lemak and natural wine, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And people feel it. And in France, like, or in anywhere actually, like people feel your passion. They
Yeah.
feel the love that you have
Yeah.
for this thing.
Yeah.
And they'll jump on board. They won't know what you're talking about. They'll be like, what, anchovies with rice? And they'll be like, what? But they see how enthusiastic you are
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about it. And they'll go for it.
And it's a different kind of anchovies altogether, right? People always picture those in the cans and whatever. All right, so we're gonna quickly do our last segment of our show because it's really filling up in the hood and in Paris. This is called the Sambal Survey, where I travel the world with 3 sambals. One is made by me, one is made by a very famous Nasi Lemak chain, which means it's industrialized, commercialized, and one more is also made by another foodie influencer who sold about 1 million ringgit worth of sambal within 3 hours in a live TikTok.
Wow.
Right, but I reserve my comments on the sambal, so we're gonna taste it. So I get people to taste it and see which one they prefer. Hopefully people pick mine, but even if it's not mine, it's just like a fun thing that I do for every show. So this is 3 sambals. Essentially, they are meant to be sambal tumis. So sambals, there's so many variations, and this is one of the variations. And
Oh, I have it.
let's just taste, and you tell me what you think.
May I?
Yes, please go ahead. Can I give you some water?
Do we try the same one at the same time?
Yes, and then tell me what you think.
Okay.
The first one.
Yeah.
So I've not tasted your sambal besides the sambal on the egg mayo.
You gotta try it. Ooh, sure.
This sambal Malaysia, sorry. They are like pedas though.
It's been a while since I've had something that kicks like this. Okay.
So the first one, what do you taste?
Sorry, I'm just gonna have a.
It's
Do we get to keep the bottle?
No.
I really like it. It's a good amount of spice.
Okay.
So I tasted tomato.
There's a tanginess, no?
Yeah.
Like acidity.
But it's like
that-
also acidity, but then
Like a little
this-
kick.
This kind of like a more deeper, like more almost like burnt.
Yeah.
Like not burnt, but dried chili kind of. Yeah. Okay.
You're right. So like sambals can be made with different types of chilies, right?
Yeah.
So like
it's like so I feel the tomato, like freshness from tomato, a little bit of acidity, and then that dry umaminess that comes from dried chilies. I think. I don't know.
Okay.
Not a sambal connoisseur yet.
Okay. No, just like we just like want to know what it tastes like too.
Analyzing this like it's a wine. Okay. Sorry, you're on the. I'm gonna go to the second one. I can see like
Pearl is like,
I can see the anchovy heads on this. So like
Pearl is just like, oh my god, I love all this, I love all this, I love all this.
Very sure.
It's very like it's calling to you, right?
oh my god.
Lovely spice cakes. This is anchovy based here.
Yeah. No, there's like almost a seafood in the second one. It's almost like an XO kind of mix between an XO Chinese XO sauce
Yeah.
with, and then there's a lot of onions, so you get multi sweetness. Super nice, but very seafoody. And
And the
very
last
very
one.
oniony.
I am not going to participate this time because by sight I already know which one I cooked, and I always want to be impartial. And usually I have a mask that I put on, but I think we
This one
forgot
reminds
about
me
it.
of the prawn thing that you eat at Chinese. You know that prawn roll?
Chichong fan.
No.
No.
The small little prawn roll. Small prawn.
Oh, the one like for Chinese New Year you fry.
I'm obsessed with it. Oh, you start on one, you can't stop.
Sorry, are we supposed to pick our favorite? Because I
Okay,
feel like-
so like very quickly now, we are going to just take a vote, all right? And we will see which sambal reigns supreme, and you will only find out the result through the video that comes with this audio podcast. So if you're tuning in to Spotify, stop your car. If you're in the car, stop your car and look at the video. If not, you can catch it on YouTube. So only the results will be revealed on YouTube, not even to our tasters. So let's go with the first sambal. If you like the first sambal the best, raise your hand.
Can't say it's hard to
Okay.
say the best. They're all different.
So we'll never, okay, to protect ourselves so that I don't get sued, we don't reveal which Nasi Lemak chain or which influencer, but we do reveal which is mine.
Okay.
Second sambal, if your favorite, raise your hand.
Wait, can you track back?
Yeah.
First sambal is your favorite, raise your hand.
I'll take the first one.
Okay, second sambal, raise your hand.
I like the second too. It's different.
Last sambal, raise your hand.
Okay, like mine is like the last sambal.
Really? So I feel this is like the lesser in umami, isn't it?
Yeah,
And
you know
maybe
what?
my mouth is too.
I feel like we need to redo this with rice
Yeah.
and bread, and we need
Right,
rice and
so to find out the results, please tune in to the YouTube video or the video that's attached to the Spotify
But they're all very good.
link, right? So anyways, I would like to thank you guys so much for welcoming to a little piece of Malaysia and Singapore in the heart of Paris. Not only the place sounds amazing, it touches my heart so much, but meeting warm souls like you guys, the warmness of you guys, the community forthcoming in the way how you put community first is something that is very close in my heart and reminds me, this is Southeast Asia, this is Singapore, this is Malaysia. My heart so touched. So thank you so much for fighting me over,
thank you for coming.
welcoming me to your house. I feel like your house,
Yeah,
right?
right. Yeah.
In a way, like, you invite in, like, kind of like this came in, right? Like,
I mean, it's like back home, right? The front door is always open. Our neighbors always come in.
Kita kat sini nak beraya, we don't forget. So thank you very much, and thank you so much for doing whatever you're doing to highlight our heritage in a land where food is so important and there's so much pride in other people's food, and our food is almost. So thank you, Mary, for everything you've done. Please tell us how we can further support what you're doing, your Instagrams, your socials.
Go for it. Oh yeah. Follow us on social media for sure. But like, you know, when you're coming to Paris, come have a Nasi Lemak and write a Google review about how it tastes different, but good.
Not good, simpan dalam hati. Good.
Also, if you guys are coming here, like bring Kropoliko for us, please. We miss it so much. Like that's totally how you guys can help out.
And your socials.
And the winners. And Nonette Bundy.
All right, so thank you very much. And I guess, as usual, before we end the show, I would always remind everyone to keep their plates adventurous and their hearts open. My name is Abang Brian. This is the Hungry Immigrant.
Oh my god, sorry. I feel so like wow.
Thank you.
I love your